Hey, Sarah from PHLster here, and today we're going to assemble the Enigma OS standard version. To do that, you'll just need a few simple hand tools. We're going to use a Phillips screwdriver, a pliers or vice grips, and a rubber band. And optionally, if you have any extra belt or leg leash material, we're going to trim that using a scissors, and then we're going to sear the end with a lighter. If you have issues with hand strength or if you have trouble tightening screws, you might also appreciate this set of screw pliers, which has a channel along the top that helps grab onto screws so that they're easier to tighten. Note that these instructions are for fixed retention holsters only. If your holster has adjustable retention like this one, with two rubber washers between the two halves of the shell, these instructions are not for you. Go to the PHLster website and navigate to the adjustable retention instructions. Okay, let's get started. When you take a look at your Enigma, the first thing you're going to notice is when you open up the package, there are cards with instructions and warnings. Take a minute to read those because that information could literally save your life, and we prefer you to not die. You can scan the QR code with your phone. That'll bring you right to the instructions page. And you can also check out the safety booklet for tips on reholstering and how to use your Enigma safely. Next, we'll take a look at the Enigma parts. First up, we've got the Enigma faceplate. This is the updated faceplate version, and this is the previous faceplate version. These instructions will work for either version. The only difference is the shape of the cutouts. All the mounting holes are in the same place, and the function is identical. Next, we have the Fidlock magnetic buckle. And the buckle capture, which is what attaches the buckle to the Enigma faceplate. Next is the Enigma belt. There are two similar versions of the Enigma belt, and you can proceed with these assembly instructions with either version. If your Enigma was made after February of 2024, it'll have a tri-glide on the belt webbing. If it was made before that, the belt end will be sewn in like this one. They both assemble onto the Enigma faceplate the same way. The newer belt with the tri-glide has an extra slot in the belt webbing. If you find that your belt webbing slips through as you wear it, this extra slot can be used to provide more friction. This is an optional routing. If this is your first Enigma, we recommend simply assembling it the way it came. But if you know that you have problems with your belt webbing slipping, you can come back to this step and route your webbing through both slots as shown. Our next part is the Enigma leg leash, which fastens around the upper thigh and keeps the holster from rising up when you draw. Next, we have our Enigma hardware. It helps to keep the hardware separated into groups by leaving it in or near the bag it came out of. Our first bag of hardware attaches the Enigma faceplate to the holster. We have our long screws, our plastic spacers, and our long screw posts. In the next bag, we have the hardware for attaching the belt or the optional sport belt upgrade to the Enigma faceplate. We have our short Phillips head screws, our metal finish washers. Note that these have a cupped shape to them. That'll be important later. Our flexible rubber washers, and our short serrated screw posts. You may find it helpful to label your faceplate and your holster with some masking tape so you know which side is the front. First off, When we talk about the grip side of the gun, that's this side, and the slide side is this side. To correctly orient your Enigma faceplate, you want the cutouts to be over your holster, pointing towards the slide side of your gun. And you want the solid portion of the faceplate to be over your wing. The solid portion of the faceplate pressing on the wing is what gives you good concealment. So make sure your faceplate is oriented correctly. If your faceplate is backwards, the cutouts will be over the wing and it won't work correctly. Keep in mind that a fully assembled Enigma is worn with the gun sandwiched in between the faceplate and the body. These video instructions are for a right-handed assembly. If you're left-handed, the same rules still apply. You will still have the cutouts over your holster and the solid portion of the faceplate over your wing. Rather than trying to mentally flip all of these instructions, lefties may find it easier to follow along with the written instructions on the PHLster website instead. When you look at the screws that came with your Enigma hardware kit, you'll notice that they have a yellow goop applied to them. This goop is called nylock. It helps keep your screws from backing out unintentionally once your Enigma is assembled. Because the nylock adds friction into the threads, it also makes the screws harder to get on as you're assembling your Enigma. So this quick preparation step will save you a lot of time and hassle in the long run. To begin, take one of your long screw posts and grab it in your pliers or your vice grips. Insert your screw into the screw post and tighten it as far down as it will go. Then take it out and repeat this process for all of the screws. This will help set the nylock in the threads, so when you assemble your Enigma, it'll be easier. Next, we're going to prepare your holster shell by removing all of the hardware that came with it. When disassembling your holster, the only piece that you'll be keeping is the mod wing, shown here, and the little eyelets that are inside the mod wing. The mod wing was designed to always be used with eyelets, so your holster manufacturer should have included those with your holster. If they didn't, you can continue the assembly without the eyelets, but we recommend them because they help prevent the holster from rotating on the Enigma faceplate. If your holster didn't come with eyelets and you need them to prevent rotation, you can find spares on the PHLster website in the accessories section. Now, with our faceplate in the correct orientation, with the cutouts pointing towards the slide, we're going to decide which side we want our buckle and our belt to be on. The buckle and the belt can be installed on either side of the faceplate according to your preferences. Most users prefer the buckle on the slide side of the gun and the belt on the grip side, but it's up to you. Once you've laid everything out the way you want it, grab your rubber band, your screwdriver, and your hardware kit, and we're going to attach the buckle and the belt to the faceplate. We have a separate video that shows what the different mounting holes do, but if you're just starting out, use the top middle hole. First, take the short, tapered screw and the cupped metal finish washer. Slide the screw through the washer so the cup side is down. Next, take your buckle capture or your belt end and slide the screw through the holes. Next, you'll take your flat rubber washer and place that on the back of the buckle capture or the belt end. Then pass that through your selected faceplate hole. You'll want to make sure that the rubber washer gets sandwiched in between your buckle capture and your faceplate. Take your short screw post and thread it onto the screw. Just get it started now, and in the next step, I'll show you 3 techniques for tightening the belt screws. Next, we'll repeat the same steps to attach the belt end. If you're using the optional belt routing through the double slot, make sure your belt end is oriented correctly. You want the belt end facing down with the webbing coming over the top like this. If you're using the optional sport belt upgrade instead of the regular belt that comes with your Enigma, you can pause these instructions now and go watch the sport belt assembly video. Regardless what belt you're using, you'll start with your short tapered screw. Add your cupped finish washer with the cup side down, and put these 2 through the belt end. Take your flexible rubber washer and put that on the back of the belt end. Place that through your selected faceplate hole and use your short screw post to capture it from the back. And again, just get it started now, and we'll explore some techniques for getting them tight in the next step. You want to get your belt and buckle screws tight enough so they don't rotate on the faceplate like this. For technique 1, take your rubber band, rubber glove, or similar grippy surface and set it down flat on your workspace. Place your hardware stack directly on top of it, and when you tighten the screw, press down into the table with your body weight. Since the screws can be hard to tighten, this technique helps make it a little easier. The second technique is similar. You'll use your body weight against a power driver to drive the screw in short, quick bursts. Just make sure not to spin the screw excessively if it won't go, or you could burn through your faceplate. The third technique uses a special tool called a screw pliers to grab the back of the screw and prevent it from spinning. You can find a set of screw pliers online or at your local hardware store. When you have your screws nice and tight, they should no longer rotate on the Enigma faceplate. Next, we're going to prepare your holster wing for assembly. This one is called a mod wing, and it's the most common one you'll see. Make sure that the mod wing's insert is facing up as you go through the assembly process. The mod wing comes with a short and tall insert. Start with the short one. Take the 2 eyelets that came with your mod wing and place them in through the top of the mod wing. Remember, mod wings always get eyelets. If for some reason your mod wing did not come with eyelets, you can contact the holster manufacturer and see if they can send them to you, or you can buy them online. While you can assemble the Enigma without the eyelets, we don't recommend it as it can cause the holster to rotate on the faceplate even when the screws are tight. There are 2 other wings that can be used to assemble the Enigma. One is the Raven wing, which looks like this, and also the Dark wing, which looks like this. If your holster did not come with one of these 3 wings shown, stop assembly now. Your holster is not Enigma compatible. You can contact us through customer support and we can help you find a compatible holster. Now that your wing is ready to go, we're going to attach the holster to the Enigma faceplate. Take the 2 long screws and push them through the faceplate from the front. Hold them in place with your thumb while you continue assembly. Next, take the plastic spacers and put them over the screws from the back of the faceplate, holding everything in place with your thumb. Pinch the spacers and the screws together so nothing falls off as you continue the process. Next, take your mod wing with the eyelets installed and place it over the screws from the back. Note that the little insert on your mod wing will be sandwiched between the mod wing and the faceplate. Next, take your holster and place it over the screws from the back. Make sure your orientation is correct. Continue pinching everything in place with your fingers so it doesn't fall apart. Next, you'll take the long screw posts and put them through the back of the holster, capturing the long screws from the front. This ties your entire hardware stack together. Just get them started so nothing falls apart as you're tightening the screws. To tighten the screws, it helps to push them forward so you can hold them from the back as you tighten. This helps to keep the screw post from rotating. If you have trouble gripping the back of the screw post, try using your rubber band to add friction. Press hard on the back of the holster and tighten the screw. If you have trouble with this step, you can use the same tricks you used to tighten down the belt screws. You can also try grabbing the back of the slotted screw post with a flat screwdriver. Get the screws most of the way tight now, and we'll finish tightening them after we check our holster straightness. As you finish your assembly, just make sure that the faceplate is straight across the front of the holster. Then fully tighten down the screws. Note that if your holster is canted towards the grip side, it'll reduce the amount of grip clearance you get. So make sure your holster is straight and you have enough clearance to get your hand on the grip. Once you're happy with it, fully tighten the screws. The last step is to route the belt and the leg leash. Make sure your belt doesn't have any twists in it. Then pass the belt up through the inner slot of the fidlock buckle and down through the outer slot. This routing is critical to make sure that your belt stays tight when you wear it. To route the leg leash, first make sure your buckle is in the correct orientation. You'll see that the buckle has a front and a back. The front of the leg leash has a round button which you press to open the buckle. Make sure this is out when you're wearing it. If the buckle is backwards and the button is facing towards your leg, that could cause your leg leash to come unclipped while you're wearing it. So make sure that the curve of the buckle is towards your body and the button is visible on the outside as you wear it. Once you have your leg leash orientation figured out, make sure the top of your leg leash isn't twisted. Then pass it through the leg leash slot. You'll see that there's a gap between the mod wing and the faceplate. You can thread the leg leash right through that spot. If you're using a bigger holster or one where that space is a little more narrow, you can gently bend the faceplate material back to allow room to slip the leg leash through. Once you've got the end through, open up the loop and pass the rest of the leg leash through the loop. Pull it tight and you're all done. Next, you'll want to follow the instructions for how to adjust and fit your Enigma. It's an individual process since every body is different, but we've got a full library of instructions on the PHLster website. We recommend waiting to cut any extra belt or leg leash material until you've got your Enigma fitted and you've worn it for a while. That way you can avoid accidentally cutting your belt too short and running out of adjustment. Once you have everything fully adjusted according to the instructions, you can trim your extra belt and leg leash material and then sear the end with a lighter to prevent it from fraying. And remember, always leave a little bit of extra for adjustment. You never know when your body composition might change, or you might wear different clothing, and you might be very happy to have an extra couple inches of material. If you do mess up and cut your belt or leg leash too short, you can buy replacement parts on the PHLster website in the accessories section.